The International 2024 concluded this past weekend, and a familiar face to the scene was crowned the champion. Team Liquid, the fan favorite of the tournament. Team Liquid had a dominant run in the upper bracket, not dropping a single game when bracket play started. Each player for Liquid had their time in the spotlight, making insane moves and honestly playing the best Dota that any of them have in their career. One person stood out amongst them though, the now crowned king of the mid lane, Nisha. Ever since he was taken under the wings of Puppey and Team Secret in late 2018, Nisha has been styling on his fellow mid laners with a wide variety of heroes. From his mastery of the Spear Brothers to insane tiny tosses and teamfighting, he makes any mid lane hero look giga broken. That includes his hero of the tournament, and arguably one of his most signature heroes, Puck the Fairy Dragon. Puck in general had a middling showing this tournament, sitting near 46% over 26 games. In the hands of Nisha, however, Team Liquid did not drop a single game over the 6 that they got their hands on the elusive mid lane hero. Each game that Nisha had was a masterclass on Puck, but I want to focus on 3 specific lanes and games. Game 1 versus Extreme Gaming, Game 2 versus Cloud9, and Game 3 of the Grand Finals versus Gaming Gladiators. These 3 matches highlight contrasting game states and high-level tech that we all can apply to our pub games. Sure, none of us are as good as the king himself, but through analyzing these matches, we can hope to get a little bit closer to his greatness.
Round 1, Nisha Puck versus XM Viper.
This is a matchup that up until recently has been tragic for the Puck. Though you had phase shift, the long cooldown of the ability made it very difficult to sustain against the repeated harass of the Viper. Combine that with the magic resistance Viper has early on, and you have a really rough first 5 minutes. With the introduction of Puckish, Puck's innate passive, however, the matchup has gotten considerably better. If you are good enough to continually disjoint the attack projectiles of the Viper, the amount of regen that you get is enough to sustain through the pressure early on and secure your first 5 minutes of farm. Despite this, we actually see Nisha struggle a lot in the early levels, getting 5 of his creeps denied in the first 2 waves. A lot of this is due to the prowess of XM on the Viper. He's very good with these long-range lane dominators. Nisha keeps his cool in the matchup despite the rough start, abusing Puck's disjoints to the fullest extent with both Phase Shift and Ethereal Jaunt. And though XM got the better of Nisha in the first 5 minutes, they are still within striking distance of one another. What's important to note about this game is the pace at which Nisha is playing the map. He understands that any move he makes to the side lanes is unlikely to lead to anything. Puck early on provides more lockdown than damage, and both of his side lane cores are greeting it up and not looking to be too aggressive. It leads Nisha to continue to get what he can out of the lane, alternating between farming the wave as safely as possible and moving to his jungle camps for additional gold. He allows his supports to play through him, and while these moves are not fruitful, it buys space for those greedier side lane cores. One thing that Nisha does while farming in the early game is make full use of the Puckish innate. Not only was he drawing tower aggro to refill his health and mana against the Viper, something that was highlighted a lot during the cast, but he was also making sure to disjoint range creep camps. While the healing and mana regen from it is not the greatest, every little bit matters, especially when farming for that all-important Witchblade timing. Nisha waits for his Witchblade to make a move, which coincidentally corresponds with an aggressive move from XG, allowing for a clean teamfight win from the side of Liquid. From there, it's a slow and methodical game from them, getting more out of the map than XG and creating an inevitable win condition in the Luna Death Ball. This is the game with the viral Nisha Rampage clip. If you have not seen this stream highlight, I cannot recommend it enough.
Pulls them all in. They show with the rampage. You gotta be kidding me! How did he
The energy that Lyrical has as a caster is truly infectious. What I want to talk about in regards to the fight though, is both his item build and decision making. Nisha went for the Ags Maelstrom build on Puck, the default build for the hero before the repeated nerfs to the Ags. It still is a good choice when you need overwhelming damage in a game, and given the Death Shroud, auras from the Visage, and general tankiness of the cores on XG, it's a good option as counterplay to their lineup. He also has Shield and Haste Rune going into the engagement, giving him confidence to make otherwise entirely reckless plays. Nisha begins the fight by attempting a solo kill onto the DY Marcy. What he doesn't realize is that the entirety of XG minus Ame is laying a trap in anticipation of the move. However, with the 3 seconds from the Yules, the tankiness due to the Shield Rune, 3 more seconds due to Phase Shift, and a terrific fear from the boxy Dark Willow, Nisha survives XG's kill attempt. From there, he plays the edge of the fight, first securing a kill on Ame Lina and stemming the aggressive push from XG with the Dream Coil. The fight is a perfect representation of what to do as Puck in team fights. Ensure damage, follow up on crucial targets to take them down, and break the team fight for the enemy with the chaos that you create, allowing your team to execute their game plan that much easier.
Round 2, Nisha Puck versus No One Sniper.
Sniper. Traditionally one of, if not the hardest mid lane matchups for Puck. And as much as I wish I could say that Puckish can carry this matchup for you like the Viper matchup, there is no such hope. One of the biggest things that makes Sniper so hard to deal with still is his attack range combined with headshot. Even though Puck has 3 starting armor nowadays, a lot more than about a year ago when they had 0 base armor, your small health pool is still a big detriment. You end up getting clicked down much more than against Viper, and Sniper has much more range than Viper, so he's able to zone you off the wave that much easier. So, unsurprisingly, Nisha struggles a lot in the first few minutes. The biggest thing Nisha does to stem the bleeding in this lane comes from his choice in facet, the curveball. I have to say, it's one of my favorite facets in the game conceptually, allowing for a lot more ways to cast Illusory Orb and making it faster with longer cast range. Its problem is that there is a huge skill ceiling to this orb, making it very difficult to cast on a hero that already has a lot of skill complexity and high execution needed. Even with a buff to being able to see where the orb will travel, the facet is still incredibly finicky and takes a lot of mastery. As a result, most pucks have opted to stay away from the facet, sticking with the much more consistent jostling rift. This game though, and against a hero that you need the range and the quick application of damage from the orb, it makes a lot of sense why Nisha would opt to go the road much less traveled. Don't get me wrong, he still gets bodied by the sniper, and I bring all of this up not necessarily to recommend this in your pubs, but to understand the premise behind it, making what you feel are necessary adjustments to your hero's build based on the matchup presented to you. Nisha not only does this with his facet choice, but also his early game build, bottle null into a straight Witchblade Q. The most important thing about Puck is the Witchblade timing. They feel lackluster without the item and broken with it. If you sense you're having a really rough time in the lane, such that getting treads will delay the Witchblade too long, skipping treads to hit that 12 to 14 minute timing is more than worth it. But how does he get any farm against no one's lane dominance? It's simple. Nisha's patient. When he has the time, Nisha stacks the hard camp, and when he feels that no one is sitting back and holding the wave, he cashes in on the piggy bank, abusing the Puckish passive with the range camp's attacks once more. As soon as the sniper leaves wave to go deal with the mounting pressure in the side lanes, Nisha scoops up the mid wave. He gets so much gold from sniper leaving the lane that he goes for the treads, indicating he once again feels strong enough to push for these smaller items to have impact in the side lanes. But like last game, he doesn't force unnecessary aggression in the other lanes, knowing that any move will be met with counter aggression from the sniper. I honestly believe this patience from Nisha on the side of Liquid is what won them the game. Each time Cloud9 made an aggressive move early on, it only connected on supports, letting the side lane cores get ahead and giving Nisha entry into this game. And while Cloud9 would eventually get the picks they want, the gold made by Liquid in this early game led to one good fight, to another good fight around the Roche pit, which, by the way, had some of the best Puck curveball gameplay I've seen, to honestly a couple of questionable pickoffs from Liquid, to a failed high ground attempt that would lead to Nisha leading the boys to a victory. This last teamfight is so chaotic, but so much fun to watch, all led once again by the backline jump and havoc created by Nisha. He proves that through chaos and repeated jumps, teamfight wins with Puck will come.
Round 3. Nisha Puck versus Quinn Pangolier.
Alright, enough lanes where Nisha gets counterpicked and bodied. It's time for a lane where Nisha gets counterpicked and goes even to slightly ahead. This is the last game of the Grand Finals against Gaming Gladiators, and Quinn, on last pick, opts for a comfort hero in the Pangolier. Puck versus Pango is a matchup that has fluctuated a lot over the years, with it nowadays being slightly Pango favored in the first 5 minutes and quite Puck favored the rest of the game. The key thing that Nisha does in this lane is prioritizing his last hits. He still gets harassed on the Pangolier where he can squeeze it, but he puts much more of an emphasis on keeping range on Pango, dodging or disrupting Quinn's harass, and securing as much farm as he is able to. And he does take a lot of harass against Quinn's Pango, but a bottle refill from Boxy and an extra set of tangos is able to offset it. The matchup turns on its head when Nisha turns level 6 on the Puck. With access to Dream Coil and with Quinn at a low health total, Nisha seizes the opportunity, catching Quinn mid-roll animation and clicking him down with the help of Mickey. From there, it's business as usual for the Puck, taking aggressive farm where he can and playing safe until the Witchblade timing. And with an over-aggressive move from Duraccio and a clean teamfight win, the Puck is now sitting squarely near the top of the network chart. One thing to really highlight about Nisha's gameplay is the way he is setting the tempo of the game and his team. Instead of making over-aggressive plays against Gaming, the team with arguably the scariest first 20-minute execution in Dota at the moment, he continues to scale, falling back the stacks to accelerate his timings. Nisha looks for a pickoff when he has DD, but is not forcing the play if it doesn't come to him. He even makes a beautiful scouting play while his team is threatening a bot push, leading to an excellent read of Gaming's smoke play and a force roll by Quinn that ends up with a bot tower for Liquid in an almost insurmountable lead. Nisha's pace setting only continues from this point, continually applying pressure in the lanes and hunting heroes like the Quinn Pango. All of this aggression on the map results in Gaming falling further and further behind into their eventual defeat, but not without a couple of throws from Liquid. I do want to talk a little about Nisha's teamfight execution at the final fight that seals the game for Liquid, around the 30-minute mark. Gaming has a really good Hail Mary attempt to start, smoking S5 and running to the triangle to catch off the farming cores of Liquid. Nisha's reaction to Mika getting gone on is near instant, making the TP and finding 4 of gaming's heroes in a dream coil. This gorgeous ult stems the aggression of the Marcy and Wind, who almost certainly had the DPS to take down the Nature's Prophet. From there, he doesn't do anything very fancy at all. He just plays the outskirt of the fight, keeping distance and poking at heroes until he sees an opportunity for a kill. To me, this is what makes Nisha truly special. Sure, he has some of the best mechanical prowess among mid laners, but his ability to read fights and almost always make the right call is what makes him the now crowned king of the role. If you stuck it out to the end of this video, thank you so much. I was incredibly moved by the feedback of the last video I made and really want to thank each and every one of you for watching. My content is only going to keep improving as I learn more editing tricks and script writing skills, so if you want to join me on that journey, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Truly, thank you all again, and I look forward to my first non-TI video in the near future. Bye for now.